Okay, we are moving into 12.2 on page 449 in your big book. And I did go ahead and make a T-chart. Not all of the units will be on here as far as units that you might be using. I know there's a half gallon and I didn't add that one. And I just went through and tried to figure out what would be an easier way for you to keep track of which ones go with customary and which ones go with metric. So you will not ever see, or nobody will ever ask, how many feet are in a meter or how many milliliters are in a gallon, because that conversion just doesn't happen. Sometimes containers that you find in your refrigerator, maybe we should go look in mine right now. Sometimes containers will have both ounces, and then that says how many L, so it's got 128 fluid ounces or 1 gallon, and then it has 3.78 liters. So you might see both on there, but they don't convert, like you don't say how many in one. This one also says 3.8 liters in a gallon. This is a 2-liter bottle of root beer, and it says 2-liter, 2.1 quart, but it doesn't convert. It's just giving you both of those. This is another gallon container. This one has 13 ounces, and then it also says 368 grams. So it might just have both of those. This one says net weight, so like how much it weighs. 24 ounces or 1 pound, 8 ounces or 680 grams. But grams and ounces are not the same unit. They are not both customary, they're not both metric. And so you just have both of them listed there in case somebody's recipe calls for something. For one, it might call for it metric, it might call for it in customary. So you just need to know that those are different, and you need to know that they don't convert from the metric to the customary side. However, within customary, somebody could say, well, there are 12 inches in 1 foot, there are 3 feet in 1 yard, there are 16 ounces in a pound, and so on. And that's what we're going to be moving on today, talking about customary units of length. And so by the end of today, we would like you to be able to use a model to compare some customary units of length. So this says you can use a ruler to measure length, and I don't know whether you're going to have one at home or not. A ruler that is 1 foot long shows 12 inches in 1 foot. A ruler that's 3 feet long is called a yardstick. And I would have had both of those examples at school. At home here, we use a tape measure. And so I've just pulled it out a foot. I actually had it out at 13 inches so that you could see that it goes on beyond the 12. And Craig made it exactly to the 12 there like that. And then we can pull it back out again and show that it has more than that. But this wants to know, how does the size of a foot compare to the size of an inch? And then this isn't to scale. So if you look here, this isn't just 1 inch. Each of these little, so each of those little containers are, each of these little spaces here, it's not an actual inch. It's like showing it as a scale. So they're telling you that you can take this, you can use scissors and you can cut that apart. At school, I never would have you do that. I would simply have you use a different way to measure. So if you do not have a ruler at home and you want to do this, you could technically take this and just take a piece of paper and make the back side of it as long as what they're saying is this foot. Craig, why don't you do that? Go ahead and mark the page that shows 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And of course there's going to be 13 lines because we've counted this first one as 1. So if that is a foot, then 1/12 of that is an inch. So you know that you have 12 inches in a foot. Now that is not a foot long. This is a foot long. Not the sandwich from Subway. But this right here to 12 on this is a foot long. They couldn't put that in the book, see, because the book isn't a foot wide. So they want you to just use it to scale. And if that is a foot, then it's broken into 12 perfect spaces. So it's just telling you to compare the size of a foot to the size of an inch, if that is. So you're thinking about if you did draw it here, that's just 1 inch. If you're looking at it here, then to the 1 is just 1 inch, and there are 12 of them in a foot. Okay, so turning to page 450, it says Emma has 4 feet of thread. She needs 50 inches of thread to make some bracelets. How can she determine if she has enough thread to make the bracelets? Since 1 foot is 12 times as long as 1 inch, you can write feet as inches by multiplying the number of feet by 12. Now, stay with me here. Yeah, you. It says 1 foot is 12 inches. So then, Craig, use your pencil and fill this chart in. That 2 feet would be 24 inches. 3 feet would be 36 inches. 4 feet would be 48 inches. And 5 feet would be 60 inches. Okay, so and what he was doing was multiplying 1 times 12, 2 times 12, 3 times 12, 4 times 12, 5 times 12. And so that's what this is showing you to do over here. He went ahead and just filled it in there, and that works too. So compare 4 feet and 50 inches. You've got 4 feet, and how many inches is that, Craig?
50, no.
4 feet is 48, okay. Inches, good. 50 inches is 50 inches. And you needed 50 inches. So in 4 feet, you have 48 inches. Which one's greater? 50 inches. That's correct. So Emma has 4 feet of thread. She needs 50 inches of thread. 4 feet is less than 50 inches. So Emma does not have enough. Go ahead and fill that in. Now, the bottom says, well, what if Emma had 5 feet of thread? And you should be able to use the same chart that we were using up here. If Emma had 5 feet of thread, what would she have enough? She had 5 feet?
Yes.
Yes, why? Because she would have how much?
Because she would have 60 inches.
Good, she would have 60 inches, so she would actually have 10 extra inches. So yes, 5 feet is 60 inches. If she needed 50, she would have plenty. Okay? Yep, she would have 60 inches. Good. So look over here at Show and Share. It says to compare the size of a yard to the size of a foot, use the model to help. So this model is saying this is a yard. We know that's not true. We know that that is just a scale, yard. There is a little cheater chart over here that tells you how many inches in a foot, how many feet in a yard, how many inches in a yard. So if you have 1 yard, this is a foot, and that's a foot. Will you please write that in, Craig? 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot. Not 1 foot, 2 foot, red foot, blue foot. Right? 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot. Now, would you label that FT so I know that that 1 is a foot? Yep, 1 foot, 1 foot, 1 foot. Okay, so if that is true, and that is true, which it is, then how many inches in 2 feet?
Oh.
Wait, inches. How many inches? Where are you going there, kiddo?
Wrong way.
Yep. So you could make a chart like this, or you could just use this chart for that one. 2 feet, look what you already have over here. 2 feet, 24 inches, right? Very good. Now, here they want to know 3 yards is how many feet. You need to look here. There are 3 yards. 1 yard is 3 times as long as 1 foot. So 3 yards times 3 is 9 feet. 7 yards times 3 is how many feet in 7 yards? You multiply it by 3.
Oh. 21?
Yes. Okay, so notice you're multiplying the number of yards by the number of feet in 1 yard. So if in 1 yard there's 3 feet, in 3 yards it's 3 times 3. In 1 yard there's 3 feet, it's 3 times 7 to get you how many feet there. Okay, you might have to take a little bit of time to think through what they're asking, and you might want to make some charts like this because then it's a lot easier for you to visualize. These charts here where you actually mark out how many inches in 1 foot, 2 foot, red foot, blue, no, 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot. So down here, you're going to use this as a conversion chart. You might want to make another chart that's helping you to determine how many feet in 4 yards. We just said though, that you take how many feet in 1 yard and multiply it by how many yards you're coming up with. So Craig, go ahead and do that one for us. If there's 3 feet in 1 yard, you're going to multiply that 3 by 4 and get 12 feet. Very good. So again, it might really help for you to make a chart similar to this one in order to do those conversions. Now down here, you are comparing using less than, greater than, or equal. And then there's a little bit of problem solving left on that page. So read that question and try hard to figure it out. It looks like they're asking you to fill in this chart here. And then that's on page 451 on your own. And then 452. And then the skinny. Let's find it here. Oh, I didn't pull the skinny, I guess. Sorry. It's 12.2 skinny, front and back. And if you're going to work through these, which I think you should do, go ahead and pause the video. And then I'm going to show you the answers so that you can check them when you get done. Don't look at the answers first. Okay, here's the on your own for 451. Here's the on your own for 452. Here's the standard practice in your skinny. And here's this backside. And that is all for today. It might help you to copy down and keep track of customary versus metric. It might also help you to write down and keep track some charts like this, and then just pull them out every time when you're looking at math, and looking at the way those numbers are related will help you to determine when they ask you to convert. And when we say convert, we mean how many inches in this many feet. That's a conversion. Okay? All right, that is all for today.